We got a VW here. Let's talk about replacing this headlight. This is your low beam, and then this is your high beam. So most of the time you're going to be replacing your low beam, your standard beam headlight. Aftermarket Valero headlight, but hopefully it's the same as a regular VW headlight. Even if it's not, this might be what you have in your car. So this is from the other side, just to give you a better view. If you don't know what you're doing with this thing, it can be pretty tricky. First off, you're going to have these caps on the back. You don't want to lose these caps, because if you keep them off, then you'll get water and condensation in here. It'll look crummy, and then stuff will start going bad. So you got your corner light. Now I'm going to show you how to put this bulb in with a great view. First off, you want to make sure that these wires are out of your way. If these wires get in your way here, then you try to put your bulb in and you can crimp your wires. You see how easy that is to, maybe you divide the wires with the bulb like this and you really mess yourself up. So remember, this whole socket is spring loaded, and do not touch the glass, but it's spring loaded. You literally have to push this socket in once you get it in these cutaways and then twist it into its detent. So make sure that these wires are pushed down. Maybe do that with the whole bulb itself. And then you have to blindly push it in here. You have to feel around for it first. You'll do something like this. Now push the socket in and then twist it. And then you can typically feel if it's in right, because it is possible to get just one tang in. Now, this is with the wires pointing down. Let's see if we can do it backwards with the wires pointing up. Let's say you're spinning it around, trying to find where it sits first, and you find it right here. Now we need to push in and twist. It's still in there, but it feels a little bit loose. See how it's not in its trigger? That's what I was talking about. I think it fits better, even though I can get it in like this. Like I can get it in like that, but it doesn't want to go. It fits way better with the wires pointing down. So push the socket in and then twist it. Now notice I got no, the wire's not caught, but the wires can easily get caught in there. And you typically feel it in the detent, and when you know that it's really in there, it feels a lot more solid. It's not going to be sloppy in there. When it's sloppy in there, you'll notice the bulb bounces around, the aim for the bulb is wrong. You won't be able to see very well if you don't put this in right. Now, this one here, lots of extra wire for this one as well. You have to tuck the wires in, make sure that it isn't in your way, and then push it down in there. It should lock into place a little bit better. We'll talk about this corner light in a different video, but real quick, I'll just touch on it. You might have to get to it through this side here, because this corner light is really tucked in there pretty far, and I don't think you're going to be able to get in there. Plus, you might have to get some like right angle pliers or something really fancy, because your fingers don't really fit in there either. So let's go ahead and see if we mess something up if we try to just pull it out by the wires, which I never recommend. Maybe I shouldn't get off track. I should be talking about the headlights. But if you need to pull this one out, okay, it does pop out, but typically you're supposed to push these little tabs down for it to pop out. I would not pull on these wires very hard. And this is a little 5-watt bulb. Get with your favorite parts professionals at your favorite parts store and get the part numbers. I'm not really gonna, it's a 194 bulb. Both of these are supposed to be H7 according to this aftermarket headlight, but get with your favorite parts professional. This one right here, typically it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but this one is exactly the same. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's got this little mechanism that you don't pull these wires out. You have to twist this thing out. So let me just get in here and see. So I should be turning left like normal to get any kind of bolt out. So I gotta first take off this cover. Now I'm gonna show you practically how to do it on the vehicle. So first off, I can't get my dominant hand in there, my right hand. It's at the wrong angle. I probably could like this, but it's awkward. So I'm gonna stand in front of the vehicle like this with my left hand. Put it in here. Obviously first you gotta pull the grommet off. Now I'm gonna blindly go in here. I gotta push in with the socket and then twist it right, but it's backwards because I'm standing in front of it. And then we pull the socket out carefully, not overextending the wires. Pull that bulb out, drop the new bulb in. Like I said, you gotta push it in with the little notch right in its socket, and then make sure it's fully seated in the connector. Now, instinctively, I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm gonna hold the wires out of the way whenever I put this back in. And I'm gonna poke around for the hole, find the hole. Now I'm gonna find the slots, and I gotta push in the socket. You gotta really push the socket in. You gotta really push that spring-loaded socket in, and then I twist it into place, and I feel it twist into place and lock into place. And now I'm gonna wiggle it and pull it back, and I know it's 100% fully seated. So it is possible. You just have to have a touch for it. The regular AutoZone employee or the regular consumer might not be able to do it very well. Just being honest with you. And this one right here for the high beam, it's a little bit more finicky. It might be easier to replace, but this one's just spring-loaded. You still have to have, of course, you just pull it out and put it back in with the regular connector, and then you still have to have these wires out of the way. You could try to do it like this, and the wires could be in the way. But on the top of the headlight is where this locating pin goes. So let's do this one on over here, now that we recapped on what was going on. You could remove the air box and that would give you a lot more room, but we would prefer not to. We've already got the wire out on this one. So we gotta put this back on the connector. Wear rubber gloves. That would probably be the best thing. That way you don't have to worry about touching the glass. So if you were wearing rubber gloves, you could do it exactly like I'm doing it. And then push it in, right? Now remember, this notch has to go on the top, and all it does is just kind of fits in. So make sure that that's on the top. Instinctively, I pull the excess of the wire out with my fingers as I'm finding the hole. And on this one, you can make sure that this nub is straight up because this connector is straight up. So you can kind of hold it like this. I'm gonna feel the hole with my middle finger first, so I know kind of where it's at. It's right there. And now I'm gonna push it into place. There we go. Just firmly push it into place. With this one, if your headlight's clear enough, you can kind of see it through the headlight as you're doing it.